Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
What are we fighting for here on Declare Your Independence? With me, Ernest Hancock. How about some, truth, justice, and American way kind of thing? That's what you get on Freedom's Phoenix. We're already loading up all the goodies going on today. And one of the things is you go into freedomsphoenix.com right now. You'll see a lot of the stuff that's breaking. And we got, semi-live coverage from Sky Harbor from Drew Phillips and Ben Nichols. They're down there, and they got their quick accounts going on. So they're talking and sharing a ride with the ASU students, and they're going around and making sure they're getting video, and they'll pop them up here, and at the top of the hour, we'll go ahead and start seeing what's going on and what they put up. But, I'll bet you the quick site is down. That just always does. Stuff like this happens. They just, wouldn't be prudent at this juncture to let people know what's going on directly, because we gotta spin it. We got to use our own media, and we see that done also. So we're going, okay, let's go take a look at, some of the other stories we got up here. Seek the Truth, ABC 15 news story and what really happened. And it's just so informative. And that's one thing. I'll tell you one of the things that we wanted to make sure that people understood. When we were promoting the Ron Paul Love Evolution and everything, we started that here in Phoenix. One of the big concerns and that was voiced by a lot of people is like, look, if we help with this, if we, fund it, if we participate in it, if we encourage it, are we going to be providing a false hope for an entire generation to think that they can really make changes inside the political process? My argument was that, no, I don't think that's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to go through exactly the same process that I did as a young activist. I was Maricopa County chairman of the Libertarian Party. We ran a lot of great candidates. We, injected the libertarian infection into the bone marrow of Arizona and American politics, for which there is no cure. And so while we did that, I understood and learned firsthand how broke the system was. The system was there to make sure that you couldn't challenge the system. So if we could point that out, well, people would make up their own minds. They would learn what they needed to learn. So what we did is we said, we'll go ahead and promote Dr. Paul because he was such a rare example of someone for decades that has been consistent and clear. Now, whether you agreed with him on every single issue or not, he used the same foundation to make any argument or question. It's all about individual liberty. Now, where you go with that, I was not concerned. I could put my head down and plow. We are very fortunate to have an individual like that willing to, and especially when he goes through the TSA and getting groping, because he has knee replacements. And so he's always setting off something. Now you got to get the pat down. And he's like, this is, not every TSA agent knows who he is. He's just a slender, older gentleman that, they can just have their way with. He's like, whoa, man, do I know you? So man, he's adamant about this. So it's good to have him on our side. What happened, though, is that a lot of the young people that went through this process, that even did what Dr. Paul said, we're going to go be precinct committee men, we're going to operate inside the system, we're going to try and change it at the local party level, we're going to use the system. Well, they learned how the system really works. That's very good. They need to know it firsthand, because they would always go to me, well, Ernie, don't you think you could this and you could that? And I go, you just need to go through the process, man. I wouldn't listen to anybody at your age. I was going to do it different. I get it, man. You got to go through it. They did. Now where are they at? They're more creative. They understand how the system really works and that you can use it But the biggest thing is you advocate for yourself. And, I tell you, this war thing is big, big, central to everything. And the media do not want to. And whenever Dr. Paul brings it up on cable news or wherever he's at, he'll go, look, man, you do away with all of this if you stop bombing people. If you stop killing people. Nobody wants to be socially and economically engineered. Certainly not here. And sure as heck not, in a U.S. Army uniform with an M16, busting in your door, and you wonder why they want to harm us. I don't think they do. This is the one thing the internet has done that's been a surprise to a lot of people. You can communicate with your peers around the world. You can use immediate Google translators. In fact, if you go to Freedom's Phoenix, let me show you this. You go to Freedom's Phoenix, on the top right, you'll see it says translate. So you can translate it in. We're adding another language. Here we have, it's in Spanish. You click on that, every single article here is translated into Spanish. And let's go ahead and just click on it, and you'll see that everything's in Spanish. And then when you go to another site, it's translated into Spanish too. So we have all these people that, are from, and you can click on it and it shows you what the original text is in English. It shows you what it is in Spanish. So this is a powerful tool. Now imagine how this works. What happens is you have people that are going to be able to communicate immediately, instantaneously with friends around the world. And they are bypassing their own governments. They're bypassing all of the information that's being put out in the media. And in any language, you can directly communicate. And one of the stories that we have today, oh, yeah, this is really going to set things off. Here, let me scroll down to this. Today, China and Russia have gone off the dollar. They just said, you know what? We're not doing the dollar anymore. So I'm going, okay, right here. Here we have China and Russia off the dollar. Oh, let me get that off Chinese so you can read it. Now, you go down here, China and Russia quit the dollar. St. Petersburg, Russia. China and Russia have decided to renounce the U.S. dollar and resort to using their own currencies for bilateral trade. Okay, what does that mean? That means the dollar's done. There's a lot of things. And the internet allows us a lot of that. We have another story on here. From April, they did a letter from the University of California in San Francisco faculty. Now, this is the assistant to the president for science and technology, Dr. John P. Haldren, was written a letter from the University of California and said, the assistant to the president for science and technology, they go, you know what, these scans, cause problems. It's ionizing radiation. Whenever you go, changing people's molecular structure by scanning them and you keep doing, you have problems. There's problems right here in River City. And I was sent the original PDF of this, so I included that. You go there and you can see the original letter. And it's coming from a professor of biochemistry and biophysics at the University of California in San Francisco, and they're going, look, man, we know this is going to be a problem. So what did we do? When we did these opt-out packs, we included a Godzilla dosimeter. Now, on the back, what we did is we have information on where they can get their own dosimeter to protect themselves. And what it says here is badges can be obtained, from suppliers like mpdosimetry.com. TSA screener, your safety is your job. We've been through this before. There's always been some big government program or naval shipping yards or uses of asbestos and different chemicals and all this kind of go, hey, man, sovereign immunity, you can't sue us, life sucks to be you. So we're going, look, take your own health, seriously, because I'm telling you, you got big giant radiation. Imagine you got 4 or 5 across of these. It's like a radiation field, and we have TSA screeners saying, I wanted a badge. We have a story up there today. And they go, nope, not allowed. Really? Why? There's bad stuff coming, and I'm just really concerned that, they will never focus on the issue of the war. the war. You got an empire at war all the time. You will have a society that will descend into what we have right now. Never want to talk about it. Well, we're doing our best, and you do your best, because this is what it's all about. If you're going to be out bombing and killing people, well, guess what? They might not like it none too much, and they're going to make sure their voice is heard. Well, maybe if we can advocate for human beings not being killed, and I just want to ask one question. Whatever's going on around the world, am I allowed not to care? It's their country, whatever. Protecting America and her interest. Well, you know what her interest is? Is protecting my individual rights. And having big giant bombing people over halfway around the world, that just violates them. So I'm going, now they're way outside their box. We're trying to get them back inside it and let them know at least what we think it is. Here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock. We'll be back in just a little bit.